think will happen to her now?
Well, I'd like to see her work on a farm where she can relate with all the animals and the pets and the dogs and the cows and the pigs, because she can relate to animals far more than she does with people. I was not able to have any connection with her, make any eye contact. And here's the thing, it's not just me or three of us. There were over 100 employees over the 19 years that walk away with this sickened feeling, about working there. As much as I loved my job as a booker and producer, I was almost relieved when I got fired, because it was like I want to take a shower. It was like a whole new dawn. So I don't feel that she has the trust anymore of the viewers.
Getting sued by her own producers for $100 million is more than just a headline. It's a roast invitation cloaked in legal papers. Enter Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, two comedians with more punchlines than Ellen has pastel cardigans. With Ellen's once clean image swirling the PR drain, Rogan and Gutfeld are collaborating on this story as if it were fight night at a yoga retreat. Ellen.
The Ellen situation. Yeah. People found out that Ellen was mean, and all these people came out and said, Ellen's actually a bitch. And then we're like, whoa. Yeah. I can't believe it. And she lost everything. She fell apart, disappeared, because people found out that this character that she was portraying in a half an hour on a television show is not really who she was. My buddy Greg, who was one of her writers, was like, she's a piece of shit. And he was like, she's a monster.
Long praised as daytime TV's fairy godmother of compassion, is now performing the public relations equivalent of going for a stroll. The producers who previously danced with her are now going into court with lawsuits instead of cheers. And in typical Hollywood form, Rogan and Gutfeld turned her legal drama into a late-night comedic coronation video.
On camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end. And also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party.
She grinned while badgering her staff, and all good things must come to an end. Even the Ellen DeGeneres show, yes, the 63-year-old comedian has disclosed that her program's 19th season will be its final. It seems she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. When many reports surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was riddled with harassment and discrimination, Ellen's ratings plummeted faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party. Rogan never misses a well-timed quip mocking Hollywood's fragility, dubbing it softer than tofu at a health retreat. Gutfeld marvels at the poetic irony, a drama centered on compassion, allegedly driven by backstage meltdowns, passive-aggressive outbursts, and enough staff walkouts to qualify as a unionized flash mob. The Ellen we watched on television in this example, America's Fun and Ellen resembles the boss from our worst fear her fall from grace, was not a stumble.
DeGeneres, bails for the UK. All right. I'm going to go to you first, Kat, because this is I think you understand this story. So Ellen and her wife, Portia, have left their millionaire haven of Montecito for England. Now, they're saying they'll never come back in the wake of Trump's win. Do you think that's the reason why she's leaving?
Absolutely not.
But rather a triple backflip down a cliff into a lawsuit canyon. If daytime television had a blooper reel, this would be the last scene. Jazz hands, subpoenas, and a confetti cannon of professional failure.
It's like a beautiful name, Isis.
Ellen's rough.
Ellen is like an old.
But it's a rough one now.
It's a rough one now because she was running Abu Ghraib in the back of her show. That's a rough one. She's out there dancing with Kristen Bell, and in the back, there's people that are getting up on the rack like this.
It's so weird when you see, like, a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced.
Already peeled down the sparkly curtain like to children, revealing to Amal Santa what lies beyond the illusion of workplace poison. Emotional exhaustion, post-it notes with passive hostility. Ellen's empire, once a paradise of surprise freebies and celebrity sing-alongs, is starting to resemble a psychological thriller on Netflix.
Told the Today Show, home of Matt Lauer, that the bad press actually had nothing to do with her decision. Right, and the Titanic didn't hit an iceberg. It chose to sink.
If it was why I was quitting, I would have not come back this year. I really did think about not coming back because it did, you know, I mean, it was devastating. I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy.
No, the real reason, she says, is it was just too easy. Telling the Hollywood Reporter, quote, when you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore. Well, if that's true, here's an idea. When your viewership is down 43%, why not consider that the challenge?
Gutfeld characterizes it as the daylight hunger. Games with orchestrated applause, hushed weeping in dressing rooms, and enough emotional turmoil to fuel a Bravo reunion. Rogan jokes the scene was most likely fueled by lavender-scented repression and forced enthusiasm. Forget the dancing guests. The true performance was taking place behind them.
They made progress with the strike.
They're picketing right now, so I think it's the early stages. I would think it might take a little bit with this one.
When someone crosses the writer strike, that's some dirty shit. They cross the picket line.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody doing that yet.
I think Ellen did. I had a buddy of mine who was writing on Ellen. Everybody kind of knows now what she's really all about. And that's another one of those. Like, I'm so nice and I'm so sweet. Being behind the scenes.
Producers sue for enough money to buy their own network. Rogan compares Ellen's collapse to a bad ayahuasca trip, the high of adulation, the delusion of compassion, followed by the cleansing of lawsuits, exposes, and public betrayal. Gutfeld remarks that Ellen's presentation was essentially an escape chamber.
Stephen Paddock, and do not ask me for sources, but Stephen Paddock.
Who's that?
He was the guy that shot up the Vegas concert. That was a very tragic thing. Listen to this. The only guy that saw Stephen Paddock alive, his name is Jesus Campos. He was a guard at Mandalay Bay. He got interviewed nowhere else. You know where he got interviewed in the beginning? Ellen.
Really?
Weird. And then they went on, if you could find that clip, they went on with a weird like diagram of how it happened, and Ellen's like showing the people how it happened. Not like an emotional like how are you feeling, how are you holding up. It was a weird diagram of like, and then he went to the left and to the right. It was very...
With only the staff wanting to exit, Gutfeld laughs that the empire did not crash, but rather gradually deflated like a glitter-filled balloon with a slow leak of denial, now costing $100 million and leaving a bruised brand. Rogan and Gutfeld nearly delivered her Hollywood eulogy using punchlines rather than flowers. Greg imagines coffee mugs on set that read, "Be kind." However, we were really busy with staff.
And Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare and that she's a jerk. And I think that's probably why she wants to leave, because she hasn't really been able to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, remember how everybody loved Ellen? They're like, Ellen, we love you. Ellen's here, yay. And then that all went away. So she probably has been thinking of a reason to leave, and now she thinks that this is the reason to try to make it look like some sort of, look how afraid I am. I feel how you feel because I'm, you know, of Trump.
Yeah, it was just the excuse. She is, Emily, I watched her comedy special. It was like a huge pity party. It was about how she was lamenting how her reputation has suffered. She's essentially as popular as a pit bull with monkeypox.
Greg handles the courtroom encounter like the sitcom finale. No one asked for, complete with jazz hands, subpoenas, and a jury that has seen every internet breakdown. Rogan compared the presentation to a North Korean variety show, complete with smiles, clapping, and the unspoken fear of vanishing mid-interview.
A million times for like, they're gonna find the thing if you don't go away. You gotta have a good run, and then when you have a good run, you step back and you go, okay, I'm still gonna do my thing, but like, I'm not. I mean, there's only a few jobs in entertainment, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of the cancel culture shit is probably these motherfuckers want those jobs.
Ooh.
They're like, how long is this bitch gonna be dancing? I can dance with Hillary Clinton. I could do the Charleston with Henry Kissinger, whatever the fuck she does out there.
The Charleston, is that what it is?
She goes out there to the Charleston. She's got war criminals. Her and Bush are jumping around. I mean,
that's right. She was buddies with Bush. That was like
she's
one of the
a
first
CIA agent.
Have the choice. They must stay in the hell of Trump. We're out of here. By the way, Walter.
I think we could let the illegal aliens stay if we get enough of Hollywood to self-deport.
Yes. I will take 1,000.
You know, exactly.
I'll take 1,000 Venezuelan migrants for one share.
Exactly. If you can get one Hollywood star to leave, you get to stay. Otherwise, it's out.
You know what, though? It's funny. I just want to bring this up to you. You can comment or not.
Yeah.
So she left a celebrity base to go to London, and she's already ensconced with other celebrities. So she's basically still in the same bubble.
She's not going back to London. She's going to Oxfordshire. And as the only person on this set who attended Oxford University.
No, way to drop that in.
It's true. I can tell you that there is nothing high British Oxford society loves more than a failed and despised American talk show host.
Greg envisions an underground bunker where employees conducted breathing exercises beside cardboard. Cutouts of Oprah, Rogan makes jokes about a branded health expert repairing crystals. Perhaps a podcast titled Beneath the Smile? In terms of trust, Gutfeld recommends start by not being sued for an amount that could finance Luxembourg. Because when your empire sinks under its own hypocrisy, even the most jaded experts start sounding like profiteers at this point.
People that are like that all the time, it doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be a bitch, right? You're allowed to be a bitch. You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they
Dogs
have like
around them.
Yeah, she's got dogs and hoods. If an intern's late, they have a hood on. I don't support that.
But she's putting this on Trump. Do you think that she's going to be just everybody's going to love her in England?
Especially the jihadis who love the lesbians so much. They're going to love her there. I think she's fleeing for way more than her anger over Trump.
If Trump is truly responsible for Ellen's exodus, shouldn't that go down as his greatest achievement in the last 8? I mean, he should get the Nobel Prize.
He's literally going to have a who's who of left. I mean, the entire 80s music catalog is gone. You got Springsteen, Cher, Madonna. I just don't know why they keep showing pictures of Aaron Rodgers with blonde hair.
It is no longer about money, but about legacy. Rogan maintains that this is not a cancellation, but an exorcism. Gutfeld's statements were broken by the common notion that smiles imply honesty. Ellen's empire was never about compassion. It was about power, glamour, and flawless lighting. The red flags were always present: tough interviews, tight chuckles, and a smile that now seems more like a mask.
So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.